Dia Gwichakarja. Hello friends. Welcome or welcome back. I'm back. I'm Sean, your local moss witch. It's been a minute. I know it's been a minute. And I'm sorry that I've had this kind of long, unannounced absence from YouTube, but we are so back. And I think it's time we probably catch up. So a lot has happened in a couple months. The last time we spoke, I was in New York in the Catskills for the Yuletide season. It was just such a rush. It was gorgeous. The snow was blanketing the world, and it felt like there was a new beginning coming. And I can say now with clarity, hindsight 2020, that there is in fact a new beginning coming. I've started so many new things and so many new projects in the last 3 months, and there's also been just a lot of stress and anxiety in the last 3 months, and I haven't really wanted to put that on camera. Not only, of course, in my own life, but I haven't really felt motivated to make content because of how the world is right now. I mean, with our neighbors getting snatched off the streets and people getting kidnapped and children literally getting deported and put in jails, it's not made me want to really make these videos. But I also know that joy it can exist alongside the anger and the outrage that we have at the state of the world and in the state of our country. Traveling brings me joy. Experiencing other cultures brings me joy, and I want to share that joy with you. That's a huge reason I started this channel, because I love travel vlogging. I love watching travel vlogs. I love watching travel food vlogs. I love seeing people experience cultures outside of their own, and I, of course, wanted to join in that. So there will be more videos like this coming soon. I have been sitting on footage for about a year that I'm really, really excited to finally be able to share with you. Changes have been happening around here. As I alluded to earlier, I started learning Irish, Gaeilge. Learning Irish has unlocked something inside of me, inside of my brain, inside of my body, inside of spirit that has just made me look at things differently. This goes along in part with experiencing other cultures, opening yourself up to experiences and lenses outside of your own. Learning this ancestral language has been a part of my reconnection journey. It feels so important for me to approach this ancestral language through my connection with my ancestral spirits, through my connection with familial deities and saints, those that have been connected to the people that I am trying to reconnect to, not only through the lines of my ancestry, but also through the lines of myth and history. So I'm still very much a rudimentary Irish speaker, a beginner Gaeilgeoir, but it's given me such a renewed sense of hope and joy and connection to myself, to the land, to the people. It's helped me appreciate the history even more than I did before. So if you're here because you have Irish ancestry and you're trying to reconnect to both your Irish American lineage and your Irish lineage, Laur Gaeilge, speak Irish as often as you can, badly, as a beginner. Simple phrases here and there. I'm really excited to start working Gaeilge into my folk magical practice as well, so more coming on that. I also started a whole new job. So there's been a lot of change in the past few months. I started working for a nonprofit, and that has also given me a renewed sense of hope that I can go to a job every day and not be working for a corporate bottom line. Feels like a deep breath. So I'm really grateful for this new opportunity that I've been able to transition into so nicely. And it's hard work. It's a lot of work, but it's meaningful work. Last little bit of admin, my background will be changing. We will be moving. This has been a difficult decision. It is also a very bittersweet decision. If you've been here a long time, you know how much I love this land that I'm on, that this is land that my great-grandparents settled on and farmed here in Lenni Lenape territory in the northern Appalachian Mountains of New Jersey. It's been hard reconciling with the fact that we do have to leave. I hope it won't be for forever. I hope I'll have many opportunities to visit this property again, but over the next few months, we will be moving to greener pastures. So I can't wait to take you along on that road. It's definitely gonna be a road. I'm very elated. It's a very witchy, nature-forward space, and it is absolutely beautiful as it is now, and I cannot wait to get in there and make it my own. a la Delia Deets. Okay, so why are you here? That's right, we are going to Scotland. I'm so excited to share these videos with you. After a year editing, perfecting, almost losing this footage, that was a trial. I am overjoyed to be able to share such a meaningful journey with you. So you and I will be traveling through Scotland and Ireland together. My first time in Ireland, my second trip to Scotland. I can't wait to show you all my favorite places in these beautiful countries that I love so much. Scotland is such a special place for me. Some of you may know that in 2024, I was able to marry my partner at Elgin Cathedral in the area of Moray in Scotland. It was a trip to end all trips. We got married during Bealtaine season in May, almost at the very beginning of May. I don't have the words to describe how beautiful the entire experience was. Maybe the words exist in Gaelic. They probably do. When I say that Scotland is one of my favorite places in the world, I wish you could feel the outpouring of joy from my heart right now. Okay, so this video is part one. In this video, you'll get to see the beginning of our trip. So we get into Scotland and we stay in an area called Loch Moy, which is pretty close to Inverness. Loch Moy being Lake Moy. This house will live in my memory in a special locked up spot in my memory that I will go to when I'm feeling sad, because this is such a happy place for me. It was a beautiful house we found on Verbo, I believe. The owners actually lived right next door, so it was this very, very large house on this huge piece of farmland surrounded by sheep and babes. It was lambing season. I know. So we got to stay in this beautiful, gorgeous, incredible house where it was quiet, it was peaceful. Nature was just right up with us. There was an area in the house for bird watching. There was woods all around the property. We went for lots of hikes and walks and got to touch the trees and experience the local spirits. You'll see me touching a lot of trees in this video, but the rowan trees. If you guys remember the Salt Lake City video, if you did not watch the Salt Lake City video, head back and watch it. I found a European rowan tree for the first time in my life in person. I spent like 2 hours with that tree. I sat with that tree, I touched that tree, I talked to that tree. There was a lot of Lorax behavior in that video of that moment, times 20 of the Lorax behavior. I hope you enjoy it because I truly did. We also visited cows and castles in Loch Ness, and this is something that we had done the first time around when we were in Scotland in 2024 for our wedding. We found the cutest little farm right on Loch Ness where there's cow petting. It's a cow petting farm. And yes, they are the big Highland cows that you have seen in my videos before if you watched my spring vlog from last year. We didn't get to get that close to the cows, but we got to feed them, we got to pet them. They were not interested in pets or love, they were interested in food. And we got to see some of the cows that we had met in 2024 and that they were doing great. They had new babies. It was just, oh, it was such a lovely experience. And in this video, we're also going to explore the town of Inverness. Inverness is such a special place to me. It is such a cute, beautiful, historical town that if you visit the Highlands of Scotland, you absolutely need to see. Now, my Outlander girlies will know Inverness well. Very much a Jamie and Claire vibe. So many beautiful restaurants and shops, and just walking the streets feels like walking through a piece of history. Inverness is also where I discovered my favorite Scottish candle company, the Isle of Skye Candle Company, which also has a big presence on the Isle of Skye. We may go to Skye at some point together. Stay tuned. And we're gonna end the video with the first time I've ever done like a travel spell in a location that I'm staying in. This is something that I do quite often now and have done over the past 2 years, but I really love bringing my witchcraft with me and bringing my supplies with me into a new space where I'm staying and making it my own in some way. And because my witchcraft, my small magics, so deeply rooted within my life, it's something that's very important to me to carry that through travel. So we'll end this video with a travel spell. It's a nice travel protection spell and a little bit of luck thrown in there as well. So definitely something to do if you also like to bring a little travel space with you where you go. At that point I had a beautiful handmade box with a Triskelion on it, which is one of my absolute favorite symbols. A little candle, and then of course I invited in the local spirits through some foraged flora that I brought into the space. So it was a really nice spell. It definitely carried us through the country. And while we're talking about travel magic, I just want to shout out June's Altar Shop. So at June's Altar Shop on Instagram. June is not paying me to talk about their altars, but I have to because look at that. So when I talk about travel spaces, travel altars, travel spells, this is something I wish I had had. This just came in today, so I cannot wait to take this on my next trip. But it is truly a little pocket altar that you can stick into your pocket, your bag, your tote bag, your purse, whatever you carry, and you have a great space. So this is something that June made specifically for me. I asked them to make me a travel altar inspired by Irish American folk magic. So of course we have the Triskelion, we have the leaves of Lorien, my favorite colors, earth tones, and this beautiful hand-painted Bridget's cross that June did. So I love it. Big shout out at June's Altar Shop on Instagram. That's where they sell these. That's where they discuss what you want. So please check them out and follow them if you don't. That is it for now. I am so happy we got this time to catch up, and I hope that you stick around for the rest of the travel videos. We will be experiencing the Scottish Highlands together, so stay tuned for part 2 of A Witch in Scotland. And after that, we're going to Ireland, baby. Era, here we come. So enjoy. Love you so much. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Loch Moy. What a magical place this was. And as you can see, our hosts have left us some very kind goodies, some homemade bread and jam. What a treat. And the champagne and crisps after a long flight, hell yeah. The house and location here on Loch Moy was actually truly the meaning of magical. Such a beautiful yard space, bird watching, sitting, laundry, we had it all. And then those sheep, oh man. Little buddies, loved them so much. Listen, you're gonna hear me going off a lot about these sheep in this video because I love livestock and I have a thing for sheep, so buckle in because they're really cute. Driving in the UK was also really fun. See my husband's face there? Lots of fun. He's having a lot of fun. So this is us on the way to Elgin, and as you can see, the drive is incredible. There you go, incredible counter. With all of this gorse. Gorse is like one of my favorite plants now. And my God, it just lights up the countryside. There it is, Elgin Cathedral. That's where we got married in 2024. So this was a big homecoming for us, I would say. Look at that view. The nice part about Elgin and Scotland in general is that they take their history so seriously, and that's just so beautiful to me. So there were a lot of exhibits inside of Elgin Cathedral that you could really live through the history, and this was super important for us to incorporate into our ceremony. These steps, by the way, deadly, and I did those in 3-inch heels, honey. Look at these carvings, look at these reliefs. They're just unreal. The architecture, the craftsmanship. I mean, look at these beautiful botanical illustrations in stone. Unbelievable. You just don't see work like this anymore. And would you look at that? Can you believe it? That is the entirety of Elgin, my friends. You can see it all from the top of the cathedral. And it was beautiful. Truly living my dream of being a crow here. Elgin Cathedral is so special to me. It's a historic ruin in the Moray area of Scotland. And it was established in 1224, known as the seat of the bishops of Moray. Now let me take you to a very special place for me. This small area is called the Chapter House. This is where the priests and bishops would have met and discussed events of the day. And for us, this was the exact location of our marriage. We exchanged vows in this small room and bound our hands together in the ancient ceremony of hand fasting. I can't help but think that so many spirits were present with us on that day. Especially the spirits of our ancestors. They do travel with us everywhere. It was especially important as a resident witch that I took a stroll through a cemetery with my new husband. So there is a lot of that recorded in our photos. And let me tell you, the crows were absolutely with us that day. This was also a nice way for me to pay homage to the local spirits of the area, something I always like to incorporate. History, legend, lore, war, and life live in the walls of Elgin Cathedral. And shout out to everybody at HES for keeping it alive, well, and standing. Another place marked by beauty, love, and memory is the biblical garden of Elgin Cathedral. Pretty. The biblical garden in Elgin is a free community garden that houses 73 of 110 plants referred to in the Bible. It's right next to the cathedral, and what's really special about it is that this lilac plant was in incredible bloom. So many blooms on this plant at this time. And last year we didn't have as many blooms to see, so it was like coming back to a sequel. Day 2 started after more than an hour of sleep at the Quila Tearoom on Loch Ness. When I say this was one of the best meals that I had in Scotland, I'm not exaggerating. Everything here was delicious. We had sandwiches, we had scones, we had coffee and tea and cakes. Oh my God, everything was so good. And coup themed. It doesn't get any better than this. When I say this raspberry jam and the clotted cream lives in my memory, once again, not an exaggeration. Mama and baby were very happy to see us, and by happy, I mean hungry. Getting up close and personal and getting to feed and pet Highland cows is a very educational experience.
That one doesn't have any more food. No, she doesn't.
Highland cows can be dangerous. These tusks are very pointy and hurt if they hit you in the arm, so you have to be careful. But they're also very sweet and curious.
Here he comes.
This was pretty special because Kirsty was a cow that I met last year, well, in 2024 at this point, and I got to see her again, and I got to see her next round of babies, which was so special. Spending time with livestock is just really meaningful for me. I adore them, especially cows and especially coos, so I'm really grateful for this experience. And look at the juniper tree outside, sending us off. I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but Loch Ness is beautiful. If you have the chance to stick your hand, feet, or fingers into Loch Ness, please do it. I don't know what it is. It's just, there's something about the water there. And the gorse, of course, one of my favorite plants. Now, Urquhart is a very, very historical castle A lot of places in Scotland have been blown up, and this is one of them. As you can see here, I'm just that hobbit that goes off on an adventure by herself. Anyway, this castle is very, very important during the Scottish Wars of Independence and the Jacobite Risings. Literally blown up by the British, the occupiers, to keep it from the hands of the Jacobites. Because this castle is right on the water, it of course has an amazing view of Loch Ness, and you really don't get a sense of how big Loch Ness is until you're there. Many of these places that I'm going to show you in this video and in videos to come are ruins, but that doesn't mean they're not teeming with life, plant life, animal life, and what feels like the impressions and the memories of the lives that lived behind these walls for so many years, centuries ago. I was pretty insistent on coming down to the loch, and like I said before, sticking my hands in the water. If you know me, you know I love a rock. So of course I came down looking for the best one to stick in my husband's pocket to take home. I may not be a crystal girly, but I sure love a rock. Rocks just carry impressions of places. They carry spirit energy for me, and I just think it's a really beautiful way to preserve a memory, is to take a rock from that place. If you have permission, of course. By the way, gorse smells like coconut, so live in that scent memory for a moment with me. Hello from the gorse land. It is my wedding anniversary. I'm looking at my husband right now. He doesn't care. We are headed to Inverness. We had a wonderful day. We pet some cows. We explored some ruins. We smelled some gorse. What could be a better day? We're headed to Inverness now. And you'll see a little bit of that and us walking around and what we get up to there. And yeah, enjoy. Having a great time. Inverness is a really cool, old, historical town. It's the hub of the Highlands. Literally, it's the largest city and the cultural capital of the Scottish Highlands, so definitely worth a visit. And it's a really beautiful place. The Gothic-style architecture, I mean, what beats that? Nothing. The River Ness runs through it, so it has a very, very beautiful walk and connection to the sea. We'll be back in Inverness in part 2 of this series, A Witch in Scotland, so stay tuned there because I'm really excited to introduce you to one of my favorite bookshops. Call me a nerd, but I really, really live for bird watching, especially bird watching in other countries, because there are birds in Scotland, like, for example, the Eurasian robin, that I've never seen before in my life. So that's really special. So day 3, we woke up, had a really nice, calm, peaceful breakfast, and decided to explore a little more around the house. Hang out with these sheep a little bit. I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm a big fan of these sheep. You might say I am their biggest fan. They don't call me Sean the Sheep for nothing. I'm so sorry. Anyway, lambing season, really special. We're gonna see much more of this. The hiking and walking trails around Loch Moy were very, very beautiful and very accessible as well. Lots of Scots pines, and wait till you see the rowan trees. The weather was pretty unreal for Scottish weather. It was warm, it was beautiful, sunny, not a cloud in the sky. We got really lucky. We got to see spring at its height, or in this area, summer, really the beginning of summer in Bealtaine. The bilberries were ripening, the streams were flowing. It was a really, really great time. We hiked up to the top of the ridge and got to see Loch Moy in its entirety. The coffin well, they weren't kidding. I got stuck here, and rest in peace to my shoes. We unexpectedly stumbled upon this little spot off the trail, and I am sad to say I can't remember the local bit of folklore about it. But it was certainly a nice and mysterious surprise. This is when we lost Sean. She jumped into the brush and didn't return. Because that's a rowan tree, my friends. That's a rowan tree in bloom. I got to see one in the wild. That was an unreal experience for me. I do remember on this day it was difficult for me to leave. It was hard to go back to the house after seeing so many rowan trees. This is really me at my happiest, when I am surrounded by trees, in nature, in the quiet, no people. I just prefer it. Like, find me in a wooded glen becoming moss, or actually don't find me. Hi friends, I hope you're doing well. I'm here in Scotland. I'm gonna cry if I talk about how much I love it here, because I love it so much. But the reason I started filming and sitting in this beautiful day room with these incredibly gorgeous windows, you'll see plenty of footage of the beautiful birdhouse right outside. It's one of my favorite things about this house. There are so many wonderful things about the house that we rented in Scotland, and it's just so euphoric here. It feels right here. It feels like home. I'm literally watching I'm watching this giant wood pigeon that is probably the biggest pigeon I've seen vie for food right now. And it's so goofy. I love him so much. There's a beautiful goldfinch at the feeder right now. So the reason I wanted to come on here was because I just set up a travel altar, and I think it's something that's like super cool and approachable to do, and you could do it in a really fun way as well. Usually when I travel, like the mundane is the witchcraft, right? The mundane is the magic. When I'm going places, when I'm touching rocks, when I'm touching moss and grass and seeing mountains, like that's my magic, right? And that is perfectly valid to keep within that confine, you know? Like you don't have to do spell work. You don't have to do a big ritual when you're traveling. It's exhausting most of the time, even when I'm home. But the reason I wanted to do it was because I wanted to connect with the spirits of the land here in a way that I haven't before. I do love connection through spell work, so I did decide to bring a little box. I got this beautiful box from a shop on Etsy in Canada. If I can remember, I will put the title of the shop right up here. It's such a beautiful shop. It's such a beautiful box. It's hand carved. It's incredibly stained. It has, you know, the wood grains are visible, and it has a trestle on the front. That is one of my favorite symbols of Irish and Celtic heritage and just earth, sea, and sky magic, and I'm not gonna get into it. I thought this ritual that I did was really cool and I want to talk about it. So I brought a few allies with me. I brought my favorite spiritual spray, my Leo's Evergreen Spiritual Spray. Just an incredible, earthy, evergreen, literally an evergreen spray. This was inspired by the spirit of juniper and the spirit of cedar. I work very closely with those spirits, those tree spirits, so they are very, very special to me. So of course we had to make a spray aligned with those allies. And then of course I have my juniper bundle here, my common juniper bundle, which is the juniper that grows here in the UK and in the British Isles area. Yeah, so I cannot bring a juniper bundle. I'm probably not gonna light it here or probably anywhere else but outside. Even just having it next to me is so magical and energetic in a way that I can't describe. I love juniper so much. It is such a strong ally. Of course, I have my Anne Morgan oil, which is like my favorite ritual oil from Leo's. It's a protection oil. It is evergreen but sweet somehow. So if you're not a huge fan of, like, you know, the very piney evergreens, this is a fantastic alternative. I wear her every day. She's got some of my favorite allies infused and just some really, really important plants in Irish folklore and mythology, obviously named after the Phantom Queen herself. So very, very special oil. This is my favorite protection oil. So I use this in the spell on the candle and on my hands. You can also use it on pulse points. You know, you could just, I anoint myself every morning as a form of mundane protection or low energy protection, because I do not have a lot of energy ever, along with my social batteries. So I try to work a lot of low energy magic into my day. But we're getting off topic. Travel witchery. As I was saying, I don't do a lot of spell work when I'm traveling because it's just always too exhausting, but I really like what I did here. I did a very lovely candle spell. I carved the candle with a trestle, which is my favorite symbol right now of power. I grabbed some local allies from the Loch Moy area that I'm in. I got some Scots pine, I got a pine cone. These are all like pieces I forged from the ground. I got a Scottish bluebell, which is like one of my absolute favorite flowers here next to Scottish heather. Just, it really feels like the spirit of the land to me. So you will see footage of this. I have been seeing so many European rowan trees, and they are my favorite tree spirit, absolute favorite witching tree. I brought my string of rowan berries as like a circle of protection as opposed to salt. I was able to get a rowan berry from one of the trees that was kind of dried, so I felt okay taking it to add to this spell. So it's a spell of, almost a summoning spell, petitioning the land spirits to bless our journey, to protect us. It's a protection spell, and I call upon very specific allies, the trees, the plants, the goddess of the land. It just felt right. So I think I'm gonna close it there. I will probably light this candle every night that we're here and enjoy it because it is very aesthetic and beautiful. I did forget to mention that I got a rock, which is right back there on the trail. And it's so pretty. It's like crystal, like natural rock crystal, and it's really gorgeous. These are the rowan berries that I use as a circle of protection. Got my juniper, I've got my tree ally spray, and Morgan ritual oil, my petition underneath, the rowan berry, and the bluebell over there. So yeah, it's just a really beautiful spell. I used a natural beeswax candle for this spell because if you know, you know. I only really use beeswax anymore if I can find it, if I can afford it. I'm trying to help the earth a little more there. We'll show a little bit of the box too when I close up the spell for the day. So yeah, really beautiful spot for it too. Right in front of the birds. I love it. Also, I just want to quickly shout out my favorite soy candle company. I love Sky Candles. I discovered them last year when I first came here and I fell head over heels in love with them. Their scents, I don't know how they do it, but they make their scents smell exactly like their subjects. Like, this is Scottish Bluebell, and it smells exactly like a Scottish Bluebell, and I stuck one pretty far up my nose today. So I can say with a surety that it smells exactly like a Scottish Bluebell. I don't know how they do it. This is my favorite candle that they do. Highland Gorse smells like coconuts to me, and just like, you know, fruity, airy, cold weather coconuts somehow. I don't know how that works, but that's my description. This smells exactly like that. So I don't know how they do it. I firmly believe they have a witch on the payroll. They must. It has to be witchcraft, because I don't know how you can bottle those scents. So if you can pick up some Sky candles, either if you visit Scotland or, you know, I order them online, honestly. I know that with tariffs in the US now, things are tough, but I think they're so worth it. And if you know, if you burn them like sparingly, you can keep them for a while. So yeah, if you are looking to support a small business in Scotland, this is one of my favorites. I'm gonna close the windows now because bugs are getting in. No screens here on the windows. Hope you're enjoying your day. I am enjoying mine. Love you. Slangaful.